Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Troubleclef, and welcome to the stream. Welcome, Penguin. It's really good to see you. I really like the bird too. My friend painted it for me to use on my YouTube channel, which I haven't done very much with. Let me turn down my mic just a little bit. It's a little on the loud side. There we go. I haven't done much with my YouTube channel, but she made that for me and it's just so pretty. Alright, so today, as you can see, I'm going to be painting. I'm still working on old Inktober drawings. I didn't have enough time to do it while it was actually October, but I'm really enjoying painting with ink and painting all the different prompts because I can get really creative with it. So I'm just gonna keep going. Who said Inktober has to stay Inktober? Now it is Inktember. You painted a reptile eye recently? That's awesome. This is particularly a dragon eye. And hopefully we can make this look pretty. So let's get started. This is nice because I already have the, there's a hair on my painting. I already have the lining done, so all I need to do is just get started with the inking. So we will do that. I haven't done a lot with ink. Just this year is when I started working with ink. And it's been kind of wild. It's kind of like watercolor, but it's really different. Just the way it dries and the way it works. So I'm using a lot of the same techniques as with watercolor, but I'm doing a lot of just kind of putting paint on it and hoping it works. It looks so good already. Thank you very much, Penguin. I appreciate it. Okay. Let's just dive straight in, shall we? I think I'm going to start with the, I need to move my water where my hand needs to be. I think I'm just going to start with the scales. We'll just get started and yeah, just go from there. So how has your day been today? How has everyone's day been today? Hope everyone's doing well. I've had a pretty good day myself. I got to go to the dog park and hang out with my mom while I was there and hang out with her at her house as well. She made me some tea, which was very yummy tea. It was pumpkin tea because despite what they'll tell you in the stores and online, it's not time for Christmas yet. It's still pumpkin season. I know it's bold of me to say that, but it's true though. We need to savor November and enjoy it while it's here. Christmas is the time for being in winter season, and it's not even meteorological winter yet. It's still fall. Meteorological. That is a word that my brain does not want to say. But yeah, my dog enjoyed running at the dog park. I enjoyed it less than him because it was cold, and I keep forgetting that cold weather is a thing, and I keep wearing light clothing. I was wearing a very thin, long-sleeved shirt and some stretch pants, which just aren't very warm. And everyone at the dog park was like, "What are you doing? We've been through this. You need to dress warm when you come here." And I'm like, "I know," but I wasn't using my brain. It was really warm where you were today. Cool. Do you like warm weather, or are you wishing for more cool weather? you are a penguin lover, so I would think you would like the cooler weather, but I'm not exactly sure. So which do you prefer? Warm or cold? You love the warm weather? So you like an African penguin. You can go hang out with the African penguins. Yes. So is your favorite season summer or do you prefer spring? You want to swim with the African penguins? Nice. That would be amazing, honestly. Just swimming with penguins in general would be so fun. Close to fall, so you like late summer, close to fall. Nice. That's a very pretty time of year when it starts getting a little cooler, but it's not quite there yet, unless you're in Utah. And then you don't have such a thing as a transition season. You just have, well, it's cold now. Nope, it changed its mind. Now it's hot. Nope, it's cold again. Speaking of penguins, one time because I work as a teacher, if you don't know, um, I was taking, I was a chauffeur on a field trip to the aquarium, and our aquarium has penguins in it. And, um, I was with my little group of students and they were looking at the penguins and they're like, oh, that's so cute. And then I just got like really excited because one of the little penguins picked up a little pebble and started waddling over to another penguin. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I pointed it out to my students. I'm like, that means that the penguin is trying to be friendly to the other penguin and is interested in like it's basically the penguin equivalent of bringing flowers. And I was just so happy and I was rooting for that penguin so hard to find its love. The penguin he went up to was talking with another penguin and didn't seem to accept the penguin at first, but I think when I saw later, when I looked back again, uh, the other penguin had accepted the penguin's stone. And I also got to see the little penguin carrying the rock kind of fall down one of the stones as he was trying to climb up to the other penguin, and it was just really cute. I can appreciate why you like penguins so much because they're just adorable. You're jealous? Well, come to the aquarium. Come, spend however much money it would cost to fly to Utah and go to the aquarium, or just find an aquarium that's closer to you with penguins. It's funny. Our aquarium has penguins, but our zoo does not have penguins. I think a long time ago they used to have penguins. I remember seeing penguins, but they got rid of them a long time ago, like when I was a kid. Penguins are so cute. They are so nice and clumsy. They are. They just waddle around and they're just incredibly cute. So, why am I starting on this side? I just realized I'm right-handed. If I'm starting from the right side, working my way over to the left side, I'm gonna put my hand in the wet paint. Okay, we're gonna change it up now before I make a mess. You have a really nice zoo with penguins. Aw, perfect. I'm glad. Is your zoo super expensive or is it pretty affordable to go there? My zoo's pretty good. My zoo's pretty affordable. As far as I remember. Actually, I haven't been to the zoo in a long time. I should go. I should go to the zoo. Should try to get tickets when they do zoo lights. That would be fun. Go there a little bit earlier. Oh, it's free? Your zoo is free? That's awesome. I would I usually avoid paying for parking, but I would absolutely pay for parking to go to the zoo if it was free. Um That's awesome. I think I can't remember how much our zoo costs, to be honest. I haven't gone to the zoo like as an adult at in my state that I can remember. And when I was a kid, I never paid for it, so um I I don't remember how much it costs because I wasn't paying attention. The person who bought it from them said they could only buy it if they made it free to the people. That's awesome. That's really cool. I love that. I love just the feeling of like, hey, let's have something for the general public to enjoy and um yeah, I don't know. I love people being paid for what they do, but I also love um community activities like the zoo or parks or stuff like that being nice and free and available to the people. Or like some concerts. Ooh, all of the museums are free too? That's awesome. Our museums aren't free unless you're a student at the university because the majority of our museums are tied to the university, like our Natural History Museum and the art museum. They're all tied to the university. So if you're a university student, you can get in for like free or for discount. I can't remember. Um, I was only there for a year, but it is really nice to get in for free. My favorite part about being a student at the university was discounted symphony tickets. The Utah Symphony is a really nice symphony. Um, they're very good, and especially since I was at the university for music, um, since I was at the university for music, I had a class where I had to go to concerts to get credit. Um, and I didn't even have to read report. I just had to go there and then show my ticket. It was kind of funny. Um, but I got like a season pass for the Utah Symphony for like $99 and I would get two tickets for every concert. All I had to do was just reserve it on the day of, and it was so awesome. I got to go to so many cool concerts. You get to go to one of the best zoos in America in your home area. That is nice. Top 5? That's awesome. That sounds really, really cool. I love our zoo. I've been to the Portland Zoo as well, which is pretty fun. Um, my uncle likes to take me there whenever we're visiting. Well, not whenever, but he's taken us there a couple times, me and my family, when we're visiting him. But one zoo that I really want to go to is the San Diego Zoo, and for the sole reason that it has platypuses, platypi, both are correct. Um, and I there were no zoos in America that had platypi until like either this year or last year, and platypi are my favorite animals. But Australia is A, very far, and B, spiders. They have so many terrifying spiders. I cannot. I and it's like it's not just you go to the wild or the outback and you find the giant spiders. It's like nope, they rain on you. They just rain down in this death rain with webs covering the entire world. No. Yuzu is great. It has penguin area, a puffin area, and a polar bear area. Ooh. Oh, you've been there and you got to see the platypuses? That's so awesome. You really thought for the longest time that they were native to your state? That's funny. That's funny. Platypuses are so unique, pardon me, and just like, I don't know. They're so wacky and crazy and really cool. Like, egg laying mammals. The males have poisonous barbs on their back feet. They're a combination between a duck, a beaver, and an otter. Like, or a ferret. They have like similar skin to, I think, some type of otter or ferret. I can't remember. I learned that information a long time ago. When you go into the penguin area, you have to put on a sweater because you spend 30 minutes there. I'm not surprised. I cannot say that I am surprised. I can say that I'm the opposite of surprised that you would spend 30 minutes. Honestly, I'm surprised that you only spend 30 minutes in the penguin area. I'd expect you to spend a couple hours in there. I mean, it's penguins. You're the penguin overlord. What if beavers copied the platypus? That is possible. You wish you could spend. I guess if you've got other people there with you, then you have to move on before they like are on the other side of the zoo and you have to go run to catch them. But if you had the opportunity and you just went by yourself, would you go for just the penguins and then stay at the penguin sanctuary like all day? You go with your family. Yeah, that makes sense. Going with family is one of the best ways to go to zoos and aquariums and stuff like that. Um, for sure. Nice. Yeah, should make just a penguin attraction just for you. Penguin Land. Uh, Penguin rides and penguin themed snacks and penguin games and penguins treated humanely and in a good environment. But Penguin Land. Best amusement park for the Penguin Overlord. Penguin Overload. But I keep thinking of you as the Penguin Overlord. Your parents have to drag you away from them sometimes. Again, not really surprised. You do love your penguins. Penguins are really cool though. I don't remember why we watched this because I work in a math class. I think this was for our science class though. Oh, it's meant to be Overlord, but it was misspelled. Okay, so I'm right then. You're the Penguin Overlord. One day the penguins will rise and you will be at their helm as their great and marvelous leader. But yeah, oh what was I saying? Oh yeah, in the class that I work in, I always say I'm a teacher whenever I tell people what I do. I'm technically what's called a paraeducator. Some people know what it is, but most people in casual conversation don't know what that is. It's basically like a highly qualified teacher's aide. I help with group instruction and class management, and I'm basically, oh, your mom is one. That's awesome. So I don't need to explain to you what a paraeducator is. But yeah, so I work as a paraeducator, and last year, I think it was closer to the end of the year or Christmas. You know, that time when everyone's like, I am dead tired and I'm going to put on a movie. When all the teachers do that. In our, I think it was the science class, we just watched a penguin movie. It was the Disney penguin movie, I think. The penguin documentary that was just following the life of a little penguin as he grew up and became a father and learned the ways of the world and gave his little pebble to his special sweetheart. And it was very cool. It was very cool to see just like all the penguins, the baby penguins, the big penguins, penguins huddling together. It was cool. You watched it with your mom. I nothing is surprising me when you say that you've done the penguin thing. It's just not surprising. Oh, doggy. My doggy is right by my feet, and I did not know. I almost stepped on him. He's a husky. Husky German Shepherd, and I love him. He's the best dog. I know that's a big claim, but I genuinely believe it's true. I genuinely think that my dog is the best. Everyone else's dogs are amazing, but mine is the best one. Really don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, you love dogs? Me too. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm kind of just adding kind of a shadow to imply that there's like dimension, like these ones are casting a shadow on these ones, which cast a shadow on these ones, so on and so forth, because we're the light's coming from here, and I'm just trying to create some texture. But honestly, me painting is I just put paint down now, ask questions later. Um, and usually it turns out, honestly. I think I mentioned this in my last painting stream, but I do not learn. I I continue doing the thing that I do because it usually turns out okay. And therefore I do not learn to curb my bad habits of not planning. That was not, oh dear, that was not where that was supposed to be. In comes the dabbler. The doppel dabbler. The dapple dabbler. I don't know what its official name is. There were several names for it last time, but I should not put my paintbrush in my mouth while I'm streaming, because that means that I cannot talk very efficiently. You do that too, but no plan at all. You mixed so many colors one day as a background, and it turned into a feather duster painting. That's awesome. But I mean, there's a technical way to do art, and then there's the free way of doing art. I mean, yes, art has a variety of techniques that you can follow to produce an image that is more realistic or more like what you want. So if you have a certain thing in mind, you can oh no, I'm doing it again. I'm putting it in the same spot again. I'm not supposed to put it in that spot. No, because I drew a line there. I wasn't supposed to draw a line there. But yeah, there are certain techniques you can use and learn, like shading and the rule of thirds and all sorts of good stuff that you can learn in classes and practice, that help you to be able to do more with your art. But art in and of itself doesn't have a right or a wrong. It's just art. There's a kid's book that I read when I was a kid, and called Moose's Big Idea. And I loved that book so much. And the moose paints a picture, and a hunter comes in, and um, he's talking with the moose, and he's like, I want to paint, but I'm such a bad artist. And the moose says, there's no good or bad in art. There's just different styles. And to a certain point, I think that's true. Um, I mean, art can be in any form and any way. So there's no right or wrong way to do art. There are techniques, and you can do techniques right or wrong. But you can't actually do art wrong, because some people say that a hyper realistic drawing is art, and other people are like, look, I put a dot on it. It's art. Yeah, you want to paint, but you don't know what, so you just paint a random thing, then go from there. Exactly. Part of it is the journey, part of it's the process. Um, you're kind of going on a journey and discovering what you're painting. I do that with writing as well. Um, I'll have like a some lore, some world building, and like a general plot line to follow, and then I'll just sort of drop my characters in and then set them on an adventure and kind of see where they go, see what naturally happens. Granted, I haven't gotten very far in my writing, but that's the way I prefer to do things. Um, you wanted to paint on a box and then you made it into a Halloween theme. See? It it goes where it goes, and it's kind of fun to just go along for the ride. It's kind of like fiddling. I'm a violinist, if you can't tell from uh my icon and my name. Um and I went to university for a year um to study the violin. And when I got there, I encountered this culture that was very, very uppity, for lack of better word. Um, very, very talented and very hardworking and very focused on the right way versus the wrong way. And myself, I had dabbled in some I'd been dabbling in fiddling, like bluegrass music. Like you pick up your fiddle and you just strum it along, or you just rub on the strings, and as long as you can tap your feet to it, it sounds good. And I remember I told my professor that I had fiddled. I He was um my personal instructor, my private instructor, and I told him, like, yeah, I also do some fiddling. And the look I got from him was like, oh, you fiddle. Okay. And it was just like what's wrong with fiddling? It's and I think I figured it out. It's not technically proficient. It doesn't have, like, you'll go to a I went to a bluegrass festival and you'll see people all over the place. Their bows flying everywhere. Their hands are just in the incorrect position, and they're kind of, but they sound great, and they're having such a good time. You can just get up and dance, and everyone's dancing, everyone's just smiling and laughing and enjoying it. And it's such a different environment in those kind of performances than in like a concert hall. And not that that doesn't have its place, it's very good, but that's why I like both, because classical is so focused on technique that sometimes you can lose the soul of the music, and fiddling's so focused on soul that sometimes you can use technique. So I think a healthy balance is both. So learning techniques is great because you can do more with it and you can express yourself even better. But when push comes to shove at the end of the day, the important thing is that you're expressing yourself at all and making art. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I appreciate it. I do ramble. You have no idea that you were going to do that, and you love writing too. Yes. Yeah, writing is very fun. I have too many hobbies. I'm trying to focus. I'm trying to focus on mostly art, but there will be times when I will just usually I'm in the shower and I'll come up with this brilliant idea and I'm like, I have to write this down now before I forget. And I'll just um I'll just start writing, and then it'll be like 2 a.m. and I'm like, that's not how I wanted to use my time, but I had to get the idea down before I forgot it. One day I do want to focus a little bit on the writing. Right now I'm really enjoying art. I guess I don't want to focus on the writing, but I want to do both. I want to make time for the writing while I'm focusing on art. You wrote you write about these three penguins. You have a 5-part series about them. Wow, that's awesome. Did they get into a lot of adventures together? I mean, I'm assuming they do if there's a 5-part series. I love adventures. I don't know. I love adventures after you finish them. When you're in an adventure, sometimes it feels like an adventure, and sometimes it's just like, I'm scared and I want to stop. I want this to end. I want to go home. Okay. Ow! That's not what I was trying to do. This is why we have a Dappler. They have magic powers, and due to global warming, they went on a plane to the polar bears and meet Sally. Cool. Aren't polar bears... Nope, that's seals. Sorry. Seals and orcas. Polar bears are on different continents. That's right. Okay. Always the fear of putting too much pigment leads me to not put enough pigment. But let's try this. Nope, stop. Starting over there, start over here. Goodness gracious. It's got a lot of pigment there. Yes, that is right. Yay! I remember my penguin facts. The few that I know. I have a very abstract way of remember, not abstract, but a very like random memory system. Like I forget people's names all the time. I think I would forget my name if I hadn't known it this long. Um Sometimes I will forget to use my online name when I'm online. I'm like, whoops, don't say your real name. I've done it before on stream, I think. but I'll just forget all sorts of things. Can't get out the door in the morning without forgetting like 5 different things. But then I can remember just random fun facts from just random points in my life. Like I don't even know where I learned these things. I'm just like, hey, did you know? Da 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 da. People are like, why do you know this? And you can't remember to email your boss? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry. You think Sally died in the last one or moved in with an orca for some reason. You can't remember. Is Sally a polar bear? Or a penguin? Neither of those quite make sense to me because a polar bear would not do well with an orca because an orca lives in the water and a polar bear does not. Um, and a penguin and an orca. Oh, she's a baby polar bear. Cute. I love babies. Babies are just cute. Such a contrast from Ellie's stream where they were like, I hate babies. We don't question your 6th grade self. Valid. Valid. But you didn't mention that you were in 6th grade when you wrote them, so my 6th grade self was still writing stories about fairies. I say that as if I'm not writing stories about fairies right now. My online Sona is a fairy. I have stories about fairies. I still write stories about fairies. Oh gosh. You did not know that my online Sona is a fairy? Oh yeah, because you're not on Discord. Yeah, my online Sona, I'm eventually going to set up a VTuber, but first I need to do some research on how to do that, because I have no idea. Um, but I do, pardon me, I do want to put my Sona as a VTuber on Twitch, because I think that just adds an extra layer of um how do you say, words are hard sometimes. It adds an extra layer of engagement and interaction with the audience, which is really fun to have. Um, Especially, like, I want to kind of take notes from Ellie Beatmaker, and have like interactive options with the VTuber, like costume changes and stuff like that, because I think that adds just such a cool layer of interaction and engagement, even in moments when, you know, someone's not able to read the chat or isn't able to catch everything. You can still kind of be part of things by, changing the skin to a monkey or whatever. So I really think that it's a good idea. Also, I have a lot of like cool ideas for designs. Like, you could do different wing color or hair color. That would be a good idea, actually. I should write that down. I don't have anything to write it down with right now, but I will try to remember that. That would be a really cool idea. I also have like different costume ideas that I could do, like Jedi. You could turn my character into a Jedi, or you could turn them into an elf, or you could turn them into like a fantasy adventure, or there might be like a sci-fi skin. You can tell I read a lot and spend a lot of time in fantasy or fictional worlds that are not my own. Um, I also have um, like these creatures that I made up the lore for, and I made up the name for, but there definitely are creatures like this in other stories. They're called draconians, and they're basically like humans with dragon features. Like, they have human faces and human bodies, but they have like wings, horns. Their feet are dragon feet, but their hands are like human hands with scales and claws. Um, they have kind of like, it's almost like freckles, but they're scales. Um, Wings and horns, I think I said, and tails, but they're called draconians. Um, and that would be a cool design that you could change my character into, or like a mer person. That would be cool. Just some unique like fantasy creatures. Since I'm not a designer of other people's like costumes like Ellie is, I would just have like all those different options. Basically, just here, make my character play dress up. Give my character the cosplay that I haven't been able to afford. But yeah, it sounds cool. Thank you, Penguin. Appreciate it. I think that would be really fun. And then, like, some of the other options, like, make me small, make me drink water, remind me to drink water. In fact, I should drink water right now, because I'm very forgetful, and I will forget to drink. I need a new water bottle. It's spilling all over me. Don't get on the paper. Okay. Yeah, my water bottle is leaking out the sides, and I don't appreciate it. I have to have it faced up at all times, or else it'll just spill. I'm not a fan, but it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, at some point, I don't know when, because I've been really enjoying doing traditional art, and I think I want to keep doing that for at least a few more streams. But at some point, I am going to do what I'm calling Twitchception, where I'll do some designing of like emotes, um, and stuff. and like a new um like new alerts, because right now they're just a picture that I happened to have that I drew um for like follows and stuff. But at some point I do want to have, yeah, fairy emotes, um channel points, moth emotes, um light bulbs. Me flying into a light bulb, or my persona flying into a light bulb. But yeah, some different fairy and moth emotes. Um, and then like, I don't know, as I keep going, I'll find things that I say a lot and make those emotes as well. So you can be like, "Hi, you said the thing again," and I can be like, "Oh, I did." But I'm not paying enough attention to the things that I'm saying for that. So that'll probably be further down the road as I start developing more of a, I don't know, more charisma online. I don't know how to say words. Words are just hard. Why can't we all just sing or play instruments and just talk that way? uh, no, words are great, but I just always forget them. That's one of the reasons why I'm enjoying learning uh, ASL right now, is because my hands remember words better than my brain does sometimes. And so it can be really nice to just be like, here's the word. Also, I love talking with my hands. I just naturally do it anyway, so it works out. You love moths? I love moths too. Um, they're very, very pretty. Some people I know are scared of moths, but I've always thought of them as just like night butterflies. Like, they're just butterflies, but they're at night. You're learning German right now, learning about time? Ooh. I don't know a lot of. I honestly only know one word in German, and that's Schmetterling, which is butterfly, and it is my favorite word in German. It's the only word I know in German. It's the only word I know other than like no. You think that too about moths? Yeah, night butterflies. And there's so many beautiful moths, like lunar moths and the rosy maple moth, which is what my character is based off of. Yes, nine. It I was trying to come up with my design for my character, and I had already decided on a color scheme. I was going to do pink, which is my favorite color, and gold, which was the original color that I had made um my treble clef icon. My why can't I think of the word? It's not icon. I used it for my profile picture. Logo, that's the word. Um I designed my logo with gold originally, before I started making it festive. So I wanted those to be my two main colors. And then someone showed me a picture of uh, Rosy Maple Moth, and I was like, "That's it. That's what I'm basing my character off of." Because I had been thinking, "Oh, I want to." I couldn't decide if I was going to keep my character just plain human, or if I was going to do like a fantasy creature. I thought about doing a draconian or like a fairy or an elf, and I just wasn't sold on any of them. But then Rosy Maple Moth, and I'm like, oh, that's it. Nine, and then there's, oh, I just don't know German pronunciation. You would be a penguin. Wow. I could never have guessed that. You would be a penguin. I thought you would have been something else. Noon. Noon? Am I saying that correctly? Noon. Big shock. Yeah. So surprising. Never would have guessed. My dog is very sad at me. Ni own. I don't know. I'm not confident in myself. I'm not confident in myself to learn it on stream. If I remember, I'll look it up after stream and be like, oh, that's how you pronounce it. Right now, I'm just like, eh. My dog is very sad. My roommate just came home and he wants to go say hi, but I have him in here because I need the door shut, and I also need to make sure he doesn't eat the cupcakes on the counter or the butter. He will eat our butter. Eins is easier, which is one. Yeah. Like eine kleine Nachtmusik. I butchered that, I'm pretty sure, but that's a this is song the song by Mozart, which is very pretty. I got to play it in high school and it was very enjoyable. Cupcakes. I know my roommate made delicious pumpkin cupcakes with cream cheese frosting, and they were so yummy. My roommate is an incredible baker, and it is so dangerous and so sad because I do not know restraint. And yeah, the best roommate ever. I know. She'll just come up to me and be like, "Look, I'm baking, try this thing." And I'm like, "Oh, yes, please." She really is the best roommate ever, not just because she bakes food for me, but she's just so kind and so understanding and so caring. And we get along so well. You would eat all of them in one go. I have done pretty well at just eating them two at a time. Um, Also, she made more than a dozen. I think she made 2 dozen. So that would have been painful. Hmm. I want to try this. Nice and dark at the base. And oh, the paintbrush has just this one hair that's sticking out. I hate it when they do this. They get a little bit old and then they have one hair that comes loose and they just stick out. And then while you're trying to paint, it just takes the paint in a direction you don't want it to go. Eh, I hate it. I hates it. It's not very nice. Also, I made a mistake there. Yep. It's so hard for you to stop when you start eating sweets. Same. Self control is just not a thing. Also, my body has a hard time telling me that I'm full. So it'll just be like, yes, we can have 5 more cupcakes. I can handle 5 more cupcakes. And then later down the road, my body's like, why did you feed me 5 more cupcakes? And I'm like, you told me to. You said it was fine. Okay. Let's try to get some. Try to get some shading in here. Shade it up. That's not shading, that's just bleeding all the way to the bottom. That's not what you're supposed to do. Oh, we'll work on it. With cookies, you eat until you almost throw up. It's really, yeah, it's not good to go unlimited. Man, all this talk about food is making me hungry. It's really bad. I figured made was not the correct word, but I was having a hard time discovering in my brain what the fill-in word would probably be, so I just kind of skimmed over it. That's always the challenge. It's like I want to read it out loud so that um it's so that people know what I'm talking about and I'm not just responding to random things. But then sometimes people will just like spell things very badly or say the wrong word, and I'm like, I don't know what you mean. You don't know where that came from. Uh, Autocorrect. The M is is pretty close to the B, and then autocorrect was like, you mean made. So it just gave you an extra E. That's my guess, anyways. More water. I'm just like taking water from my cup and flinging it on my plate. Thanks, autocorrect. I know it's so helpful sometimes, and by helpful I mean really just not helpful at all. My phone autocorrect has taken to correcting me when I spell the word right. So like I spell the word right and it's like, oh, you meant this word. And I'm like, no, I meant the word that I spelled. You just changed it for me. Please stop. Thanks. It's helpful sometimes, but it's not helpful other times. It's just like, it varies. This is why I don't trust, like, automatic cars. I'm like, the robots can't even decipher what I'm saying right now, what I'm trying to say. I don't trust them to drive my car. Kind of just maybe I should leave a little bit of white on the edges. The word suggestions at the top give an idea of what I think is spelled, gives me the word you want. It does, unless you really cannot spell it correctly. There have been several times when I have this word that I need help spelling, and I try to spell it. I give it my best guess, and the autocorrect is just like, your guess is as good as mine, and I'm like, well, that's helpful, thanks. It's like looking up a word, the spelling of a word in the dictionary. It's like, how are you supposed to look up the spelling of the word in the dictionary if you can't spell it? My mom she is a big proponent of the dictionary. She'd always be like, look it up in the dictionary. And I'm like, I can't find it because I can't spell it. It's too hard for me. You know, I really should have thought this out more and done this so that it's a smooth gradient instead of chunky. But, you know, trust the process. We'll make it. It's about the journey. It's not gonna look perfect the first time. That's how it goes. Don't ask me why I'm talking like that. I could not tell you. You sometimes have to use speak to type. Yeah. I use it sometimes, but I don't love I don't love talk to text because it has a time limit. And like if you've stopped talking, it'll be like, okay, you're done. You're done talking. You must be done. You stopped talking. And I'm like, no, I just lost the words. And just the extra pressure of trying to find the word fast is like makes me forget the word faster or forget words more. So it's very much just like, well, I had to push the button 5 times just to say, would you mind picking up some tuna from the store? And it's vexing that way. But that's also just partly me being lazy because I do that sometimes. Use it for one word and then you type the rest. But it's like, did you have more to say? And you're like, no, I'm good. Yeah, I feel that. My phone can be a little slow, so I'll just wait for it and it'll be like, you're still talking, aren't you? And I'm like, nope, I stopped talking 30 seconds ago. You're still not letting me type. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Here. Hmm. Do, 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 do. It pauses the thing you're watching, so it's annoying if you're done talking, but you can't listen to it. Yes, that happens to me all the time, and I hate it. Like just, or when I'm listening to music, that too. I listen to music a lot. I think I spend more time listening to music than not listening to music, and so yeah, it's like you've interrupted my song, and now you're just sitting here, waiting for the sentence that will never come because I'm done speaking, but you don't know that. I have such a calm, chill playlist going that it's making me sleepy. I think I need to get a different playlist that's happy and a little more upbeat because this is just, why did I start in this corner again? I keep doing that and then I keep running into the problem of I can't put my hand on it. Oh yeah, it's cuz over here I started doing a thing and then I changed my mind, but it was still wet, so it was going to bleed. That's right. Dang, I've already been streaming for an hour? Wow. I, that did not feel like an hour. Time is just relative. It has no meaning. I'm not good with the passage of time. I'm not aware of it. Excuse me. You have a sad love song playlist that's somehow still upbeat. There's a whole bunch of like sad love songs that are incredibly upbeat. Like, you broke my heart, but I'm singing in a major key. And it's like, what? You're so happy about this sad thing you're singing about. Like, how much did you actually love this person? Because I feel like you're kind of happy that you broke up. Or it's like one of those sarcastically upbeat songs, like, I'm gonna make it, even if it kills me. Definitely was not referencing a song just then that I can't remember the actual title to. You're just jamming out to those songs too? Nice. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what I was gonna say. I opened my mouth and I made sounds without actually having thought behind it. I should not do that. That's not a good idea. do, 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 do. I'm definitely not going to finish this painting today. I'm not fast. But we'll probably go for a good 2 hours. And then I'll wrap it up. Last time I did a painting stream, it was 3 hours, and 3 hours was too long. It was a bit too long for me. Hi, Sundazed. Yes, it is Treblecluff2187. It is me. I am streaming. Your penguin's favorite is Looking Out for You, and it has lyrics saying, writing a love song for a girl who will never know it's about her. Aww, that's so sweet and so sad. This says slay. Only if it's your enemies or people in a video game. Don't actually slay anyone. I do not condone murder. Unless it's in a video game. Slay thine enemies. Yes. You know, you love the lyric though. I know, it's one of those things that's like, it's sad, but it's a beautiful sad. It's like the nice kind of sad. Did I just ignore this when I was doing my second layer? I did, didn't I? That's rude. That is incredibly rude. Can't forget the middle of the torch. That's not a thing. We'll just do this layer and then come back for the next one. It's fine. Not salty about it or anything. Okay, don't color the part that you're not supposed to color yet. Okay. Have done it. Hi, Fanny. Welcome in. You went to an escape room and slay was the password? That's amazing. That's incredible. Slay what though? What kind of escape room was it? What was the theme? Or did it have a theme? Most escape rooms have themes, right? Escape rooms. Should not be lazy and leave out half the word. Did I get distracted? I did get distracted and start doing other things without finishing the inside of this. I know myself so well. There we go. You can't stay long since you promised you'd try to sleep earlier tonight. We thought you'd pop in for a few minutes. Well, I'm very happy you came in, even if it's just for a little while. Because you are wonderful and we love to have you here. It's about kidnapping people to sell their organs? Gosh. Your entire grade went to an escape room as bonding, and your group got out the fastest. Nice. I've only ever done an escape room once for a friend's birthday party a couple years ago, and it was a great deal of fun. We went in the escape room. I think that was like, they went in and they were like, only one group has ever completed this before you, and so can you do it? And we got close, but we didn't quite make it. It was like a bank robbery. I think we were like trying to crack a safe or something like that. Someone get a mop. Fanny melted. Here, I got you. I'll mop you up. I have my dabbler, so I'll just like dab dab dab. Here you go. I'm melting. Who would have thought this from such a beautiful girl? I'm melting. My very best Wicked Witch of the West impersonation. Traditional Wicked Witch. Traditional Wicked Witch of the West impersonation. I do have a better impersonation of Elphaba in song, but not in voice. Not in just talking. I think I do a better Glinda the Good in talking if you're thinking about Wicked. You're gonna lurk. You barely have anything written. All right. Have fun lurking, Days. Thank you for joining and chatting for a bit. Fanny, you've never been to an escape room, but you want to. It's really fun. I want to eventually, once I'm better at getting out of my house and doing things with friends, planning things with friends again, I want to try doing an escape room. It would be very, very fun. And I'm like, I know I'm in my 20s. I don't care. We can still do things. We don't need to be adults. That's a lie. Growing up is a lie. You just get older. Like, I would honestly, if the opportunity came to me, I would honestly go do laser tag. And I know a lot of people are like, that's a little kids game, but I'm like, we do the same thing but with paintballs. And but laser tag hurts less than paintballs. So why not just do laser tag? It's time for you to get ready for bed. Bye, Fanny. Thank you so much for dropping in. It was lovely to have you, even if it was just for a little bit. I appreciate you coming in and brightening chat with your lovely, wonderful presence. I hope you have a very good night of sleep. I'm actually digging this texture now that there's a couple layers going on. I'm really liking it. This tape is throwing me off because I'm not... I'm drawing this before I put it on the board. So I have all the pen markings outside of where the tape is. And I keep being like, well, these ones aren't colored. But I can't color them because they're behind the tape. Oh, well. No more melting, Fanny. I know. Make sure you grab all your pieces. Okay? Don't forget to wring out the mop before you go. Okay. Let's just go for it. No, that one little hair. Putting the paint where I don't want it to go. I hate that. I hate it so much. Okay, make it darker. There we go. Oh, I love this song. It's so pretty. It's so relaxing. Oop, I started this one too soon. It's bleeding into the other pieces. Yups. Whoopsie dipsy. That was not the desired effect. Also, why am I doing this before doing the scales in back of it? Like these ones specifically. Silly Billy. Silly goose. The silliest of gooses. Oh well, we'll just be very careful. Oh yeah, earlier we were talking about paintball. How big is the dragon if the torch is so small it's smaller than the eye? It's a big dragon. It's a very big dragon. the fun thing about dragons is that they can come in all shapes and sizes. There is no limit on your dragons. You can make a nectar drinking dragon um that lives in flowers, and you can also make a dragon that is the size of a continent or lives in the stars. And it's just so cool because you can do so much with it. So much with dragons, so much potential and creative possibility. There's so many types of dragons. You can have them with 2 wings or 4 wings or 8 wings or 2 legs or 5 legs. Baby dragons are the best in your opinion. They're so tiny and cute. They are adorable. One thing that will happen on this channel is plenty of dragon drawing. I adore dragons, and I will draw them plenty. Like baby birds, yes. Baby dragons like baby birds, but they have such big, like, I mean, depending on how you draw the dragons, you can have them be like kind of like dogs with just giant feet that do not match their their bodies, or you can do like baby birds, or you can do them, there's just so many different possibilities, like baby reptiles. They're just so many dragon options, dragon opportunities. Ooh, I think once all the scales are done, I'm probably going to do a little bit of a wash over the edges to sort of imply that there's more light here and then less light here. I think that'd be good. Okay. That torch is going to need a little bit more love, but I'm going to try to do this first. What would happen if penguins could just fly one day? Then we'd have flying penguins. Orcas would be sad because they'd lose their snacks, but the penguins would be happy because they could just fly away from the orcas. They would be too overpowered though. They would You cannot master both the air and the water. You must choose one. They just casually take over the world. Yes, then no more orcas. But I don't know. Orcas are cute, but they're like mean. They like just throwing fish and other animals into the sky just for fun without actually wanting to eat them. Some animals are just brutal like that. They're just like, I'm just gonna hurt you for fun. And it's like, wait, no, that's rude. Okay, this stupid hair. I just do not like it. Penguins would come fly to you. I mean, wouldn't they still want to be where it's cold, though? But that would be fun if all the penguins were just like, let's go find a penguin overlord. And then you'd take over the world together. Be very happy friends together, taking over the world. Need to get out of the habit of using sketchy strokes and then just let my paintbrush stay on the paper. I'm not confident in my brush strokes, so I'm always just like doing this sketchy, like moving it a lot. Oh, I wasn't trying to actually draw there. Yes, penguinism. You live in a place where warm and cold penguins would be happy, so you live in a temperature neutral place. That's cool. The new government. Honestly, I'd vote for penguins. I would vote for penguinism. Although it might be kind of smelly because the year-round penguins might be kind of smelly because the penguins might value fish as a good currency, and then there would be a lot of fish. We'd help all the animals, the third party. Yes. That's rude. Just put my hand on the torch that's still not dry. I have issues with putting my arm on not dry yet paint. I just have issues with paint sometimes. I remember I've told this story on stream before, and I'm gonna tell it again because it's funny. But in high school, I took a painting class, and we had smocks that were literally the paint teacher's dad's old dress shirts, and they covered. I am doing it the wrong way round. No. I'm so sad with myself. Ah, it's supposed to be this way because the light's coming from this angle. But yeah, the old dress shirts came down to like here. They came down to here. And somehow I would still get paint on my shoulders or on my upper arm, and I'm like, how? How did I get paint there? I wasn't wiping my brush on my sleeve. Your friend dries her paintbrush on her hand. I try to have a rag or a dabbler, some sort of dabbling cloth by my side, but I still always just get paint on me. This ink is pretty forgiving because I'm mixing it with water, so it's being pretty nice to me. But and watercolor's the same. Watercolor just washes off. But other types of paint, like oil and acrylic, are just so messy. So much mess. Just chaos. You get syrup in your hair every time you use it, and you don't know how, even when you put your hair up. That stinks. Dang. Man. Yeah, syrup's also something that if I have pancakes and syrup does not end up on my shirt by the end of the meal, I'm so impressed with myself. I remember last time I had pancakes actually just bragging to my parents like, "Look, there's no syrup on my shirt." And my parents were like, "Good job. I'm proud of you. This is your life accomplishment? Should we be concerned?" You should come up with a story to go behind this painting. All good paintings have a story behind them, right? So, I don't know, is this a menacing story where the dragon is going to where the adventurer is very dismayed to see a dragon? Or is the adventurer happy to see a dragon? What sort of situation is this adventurer with a torch finding? My brother is so messy. His spot at the table used to be so dirty, it was crazy. Crumbs were everywhere. Oh my goodness. An angry mob? Oh, an angry mob for the dragon? But, I mean, the dragon's so big, they might have underestimated his size. So, perchance, the dragon will not have to worry about angry mob for very long. Kind of trying to imply here. Are you kidding me? I forgot this part. It's okay. We'll just do it now. Trying to imply that there's gonna be light here, but it's hard. Mix between Beauty and the Beast and Sleeping Beauty. I can see the Beauty and the Beast part because it's angry mob. What do you mean by the Sleeping Beauty part? I have not the pleasure of understanding you. Gotta do a bit of dipple here. Okay. Dipple Dop Dabbler. Oh, yeah, that's right. Maleficent turns into a dragon. So, how did I forget that part? Or how did I forget? I don't know. I was thinking so hard about actual Sleeping Beauty, like the character Aurora, that I forgot there were other characters in the movie. I haven't seen that movie in so long. That'd be a fun thing to do. I'd love to just sit down and watch that movie again. It's such a beautifully done movie. I love modern animation. It can look so pretty. Like, I gotta say, the animation in Frozen 2, even though I didn't love the movie, the animation was just phenomenal. Even Frozen 1 was just so cool. Or How to Train Your Dragon 3 just blew me away. But the old hand drawn animation is so wonderful as well. Can't beat that. Can't beat spending ages hand painting all of these gorgeous backdrops. So pretty. I remember watching, I don't know when I did. I used to watch behind the scenes when I was a kid, I think. Because I have so many memories of like the behind the scenes of the movies, and I'm like, when did I watch that? It doesn't seem like something that would have captivated me as a kid, but I guess it did. But um I remember just watching like the people painting the backdrops, and then over the top of the backdrops just the sheer paper that they had, kind of like a almost like a flip book, and they were just like tracing it and holding it up over the backdrop, and I'm like, that's just so cool. It's like everyone knows like how much effort is put into stop motion animation. um and it's like every single old animated movie was basically stop motion animation, just flip books but on a huge level. I mean, stop motion has more effort with like the clay. um it's a different medium, so it's got different challenges, but it's still just like that animation. You'd hate to have to redraw every detail over and over again. I would too. I'd be like, I am so sick of this princess. I just want to never draw her again. I mean, I guess that's why you have teams and just teams of tons of people, but still, that would be difficult to say the least. It's very, very, very cool. It is kind of hard sometimes to watch the old movies being turned into live action because they were so good, and some of them have turned out really well, and others are just like, oh, you just lost the plot there. You did a flip book once, you hated it so much, so hard, but it looked good in the end. That's awesome. I feel like that's a good description of just art. There's so much in art that you're just like, I hate this, I loathe it, I will never touch it again. And then you get to the end and you're like, hey, that's actually pretty cool. But I still hate it because every time I look at it, I'm just reminded of the pain. It was a firework? Ooh, that sounds really cool. I like fireworks. But yeah, that does sound like it would be hard to make into a flip book. Just, yeah, that'd be tricksy. Tricksy? Great Gollum vocabulary I've got going on here. So tricksy. Those tricksy little hobbitses. I'm supposed to be doing this one. Yes, yes. Okay. Hey. Okay. I know what I'm doing. I am a professional. I am a professional. Yes, yes. I have already overused that joke. 3 streams into an actual regular streaming schedule, and I'm already overusing the joke that I'm a professional streamer. I'm gonna have to come up with a new joke, or just overuse that joke and not care what anyone says. I might just go that route because I like the joke. Because I'm so very much not a professional streamer, it's funny to call myself a professional streamer. Oh, excuse me. A little yawn right there. Yeah, I can't be yawning yet. It's only 9:30. Nope, it's only 9. It's not even 9:30. It's only 9. I know what time it is. I am conscious of the passing of time. Absolutely. Not. Seriously, I really relate to that part in the Bible where it says a year feels like 1,000 days and 1,000 days feels like a year. Or a day feels like 1,000 years and 1,000 years like a day. I messed that up very much, but just that whole concept of like time is very relative. I mean, I know that's talking about a completely different thing and I'm taking it totally out of context, but out of context, it's a very relatable quote to someone like me who cannot comprehend the passage of time. I can comprehend it. I know time is passing. It just does not pass at a steady rate for me. It's like random. It's like roulette looking at the clock. Like, has it been 5 minutes or has it been 3 hours? You don't know, and you don't really want to know because you've been doing this the entire time. Shading, shading the scales, shading. shading the scales. One thing I hope to get soonish is a printer. Because, or specifically a scanner. Because while I was at my parents' house, I could scan my artwork, my traditional artwork, and post it online just as easily as I could with my traditional artwork, or my digital artwork. Meh, mixing up words. But now that I'm at my apartment, I don't have a printer or a scanner. And just going places to print and scan things is hard and a hassle. So I would very much like to be able to just print and scan from home. Can't afford it right now, but that'd be a fun thing to do in the future. Fun thing to get in the future. Scanner and a nice printer so that I can maybe print some of my own stuff. Make some art prints and stuff like that. That'd be fun. That is very, very dim. Should add some more pigment to that. There you go. Have some pigment. That will make you feel better. Why am I talking to my... I mean, is it weirder to talk to a painting than it is to talk to a computer screen when you're streaming? Because, yes, there are people on the other side, usually, but not always, and they might not be listening, or they might be doing something else, not quite paying attention at that current time, or something, and they're not necessarily responding, so you really are just kind of talking to yourself in front of other people. So it's like, is it weirder to talk to yourself in front of other people than it is, or is it less weird to talk to yourself in front of other people than it is to talk to a painting or another inanimate object? I would argue no. But that's just me. Anyways, deep philosophical conversations with Treble. Gotta love those. I'll do anything to keep myself amused. And if anyone else is amused in the process, it's a cool win for me. I'll never turn my nose up at being funny or taking an opportunity to crack a joke. Well, not never. I do no restraint when it comes to, like, timing. Usually. Not always. Usually I can say, hey, this would not be a good situation to crack a joke in, and I can refrain myself. Refrain from doing it, restrain myself. I am combining words. Again, I do that a lot. Oh, that was too much something. Come back a little bit. Curb your instincts to cover the paper in darkness. Painting with ink really just is preventing the ink from taking over the world with darkness. It's like, no, you will stay where I push you. Because when you're painting with ink, or with any watercolor, really, there's no way to add lightness back in. Unless you use white paint, but that just doesn't look very good. So usually when you're watercoloring, if you want light in your painting, it's an absence of pigment. Any lightness is absence of pigment. So for highlights and stuff, you would do pure white. And I forgot where I was going with this. Oh yeah, pigment taking over the world. It really is just like keeping the darkness in the spots where the darkness is supposed to be and then preserving the light. Ooh, I'm rather liking how this is turning out. This is looking quite cool to me. Now I'm thinking for the parts around the scales of doing just straight black. And I'll want a very thin brush for that. I think I have enough time to start that. All right. More ink on the plate. Try and put it in a place where it won't immediately bleed. It's immediately bleeding into the parts with water. It's fine. It can be a little bit mixed with water, but I want it to be nice and dark. We're going to switch to my tiny brush. Okay. All right. Nope. We are going to start over here because we are using our brains. I'm gonna go very I need to stop putting my hand on the wet paint. Always do that. Always find a way to get paint on myself. Every time. I remember last time I did the painting stream, I was talking about how much better it was to be working with ink than something like acrylic or oil because it doesn't stay on your hands nearly as much. And I think like a day later, I noticed that my fingernail was black, and it was black, or not black, but like an inky gray. And it was the same color, the same inky gray for several days. So I take back everything I said about ink not staining as much as other things. Even though it's being mixed with water, it's not less tame, or it's not more tame. Which probably means that I should be wearing paint clothes, but I'm not. I like to live life dangerously. In fact, I'm wearing a shirt with white on it. This was not planned out. It's fine. It's art. If I get ink on it, I will call it art. Make mistakes in life, they're birds. You get ink on your shirt, it's art. I think I'm gonna like how this black's gonna look. It's gonna make the scales pop a little bit more and emphasize the highlights of the scales without making it feel overly cramped and crowded. I think this is dry enough. Maybe not. I was about to say I think it was dry enough for me to do the black stuff right next to the inner scales, but I'm just gonna do that part last. Oh, this brush also has one of those pesky hairs that is longer than the rest of the brush. Keeps making the paint go in places I don't want it to. That's incredibly rude. I think I need to keep a little pair of scissors at my desk for whenever I find a brush like that has just hairs where hairs ought not to be. I think this will probably be the last thing I have time for today. Um, just the inner part of the scales, and then maybe some touching up of the scales if I see anything that I think needs doing. And then perhaps tomorrow, if there's time, or possibly on Saturday, probably Saturday, because I'm going to go with a friend to get some boba tea tomorrow, and we're going to be doing it later. So it'll probably be on Saturday, but we can finish this on Saturday. And that will be very fun, I believe. Because the fun part of these paintings for me has been the ending part, where I've been adding gold or silver paint to do accents. So that's how I'm going to do the fire. That's how I'm going to do these little rivets on the torch. And I think I'm going to do some of the reflection in the dragon's eye. Not all of it, but some of it with gold. I might even do a little bit of highlighting on the scales. I don't know. I don't want to do too much gold, but I definitely want to use some gold on it. I am liking how this dark is turning out. This is making it look so much more unified, and it's making the shading of the scales really pop. I'm really liking it. I'm pleased with it. It's always good to be pleased when you are doing art. That's not the full purpose of art, but it is good to be pleased with what you're making, because it makes continuing to make it that much better. Makes it easier to keep going if you're pleased with what you have so far, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Also, ultimately, art is done for the enjoyment of the artist. If other people receive enjoyment for the art, that's amazing. Or from the art, that's amazing. But ultimately, the artist's enjoyment or communication of something or whatever is the reason why art is created. Art is meant to be enjoyed by other people, but it is first meant to be enjoyed by the artist. Because, like we were talking about earlier, art isn't just about the end result, it's about the process. And it's much easier to involve people in the process now. And even a long time ago, there were lots of people involved with the process of painting. People would come and watch painters if they were outside or in the streets or anything like that. But the process of painting, the process of art, is very much a private business for just the artist. So the result is to be enjoyed by the general populace, but the process is for the artist's enjoyment first and foremost, even if they don't enjoy the end product. That's why art can be very good for therapeutic reasons, for settling your mind when it's filled with heavy thoughts or difficult things. It's a way to express yourself. Even just the existence of your feelings outside of yourself, even if no one else sees it, even if no one else understands or no one else hears, having your thoughts and feelings manifested outside yourself can make you feel heard and understood in ways that sometimes just talking can't. So, I don't know, I'm waxing philosophical here because no one's stopping me, but art is really important. Art is very important for a number of people, and not least of all the artist. I've spent a lot of time the past couple months trying to figure out how to handle very strong emotions that threaten to overwhelm me. And one of the best ways I've found of doing that has just been drawing them. Because you have so many strong feelings. Sometimes it feels like a ranch bottle that you just tip upside down, and suddenly there's more ranch than you could ever hope for coming out of your bottle. And sometimes emotions do that. You tip it upside down expecting the normal amount for the circumstances you have, and it all comes tumbling out all at once, and you don't know what to do with it. And one of the best places to put all of that emotional ranch is in a poem or on a canvas or in your music. It's so, I mean, art isn't just good to look at. It's good to do. It's good for your brain, it's good for your soul, good for your body. You can say and do anything with a canvas. I mean, grab a canvas, you can see the stars up close. You can travel to places you've never been and places that don't even exist. You can ride dragons. And it's just really cool. It's one of the reasons why I like art as much as I do. It's because it's so valuable and so important. Yeah. I will now step off my soapbox and start talking about something else before I don't know, before I end up getting more philosophical than I already am. Look, it's nighttime. I have dramatic music playing, and I'm just talking. So this usually happens at night. I usually get some kind of philosophical or something like that. Start unwrapping how time travel works. Start thinking about what color angels' eyes are and if they're on the visible spectrum or not. Stuff like that. I'm a very deep thinker most of the time. When I'm just rambling on and on to myself, it's bound to come out eventually. That thinking about time travel is one way to just get your brain to kind of implode, but it's also a good deal of fun. I've kind of come up with the idea of there being, I think, three different types of time travel, or I guess 4 types of time travel. There's single stream time travel, where there's only one time stream and it's all set in stone. So you find examples of this type of time travel in Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban, I think. Yeah, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban with the Time Turner. Where they go back in time and their actions that they did when they go back in time were already part of the timeline. So everything's already kind of set in stone, past, present, and future. And by going back in time, you're not changing the past or the present or the future because it's already happened that way. So when Hermione threw the stone at Harry's neck, her future self did that, but when she was in the past, that still happened. If that makes any sense. I'm not doing a good job of explaining this, but so one time stream, and everything has already happened. It's already set in stone. So time travel has already been accounted for. Then you have single stream time streams that can be altered. This is what you see in movies like Back to the Future, where you can go back in time and change the future by altering the past. So it's still just one time stream, but your entire present or future could be affected by changing what happened in the past. Just like how in Back to the Future, the past was affected, and when he came back, the entire present was completely different than it had been because of the changes in the past. And no one had any memory of there being any changes. And then there's the concept of multiple time streams, which is where you're basically dimension hopping. Like, each action you make has or each decision that you're faced with produces an alternate timeline. So, like, if you go to the ice cream shop and you choose between chocolate and vanilla, there would be one time stream created by you choosing chocolate, and another time stream created by your choosing vanilla. So one time stream in which you chose chocolate, one time stream in which you chose vanilla. And that gets into the whole multiverse concept, which is being that concept is being dipped into by both DC and Marvel. It's very popular in sci-fi films to go to that alternate time streams, alternate time streams lead to infinite dimensions. And that by altering one time stream, you're actually creating an entirely new dimension. So time travel in that one can be very, very tricky. Because you can kind of upset the balance of time and space that way and create alternate universes. And then the fourth type of time travel would basically just be oops, I made a mistake. It would basically just be I guess moving through time. So like accelerating time or slowing down time, or time moving through you. So like growing older or getting younger without actually spending the time that it takes for those changes to happen. So like if you're, and this sort of goes back to the time turner in Harry Potter, because if you're standing around and time passes around you instead of you actually hopping back in time, it's sort of like walking running through time instead of walking through time. Um, and then that one sort of actually ties in with the solidified time. Like all your actions have already all the actions that your future self have done in the past already happened and already affected the world. Um, Time travel is very confusing, and um, I think that's one of the reasons why there's so much inconsistency in things with time travel, because the writers or the whoever's making the story will try to incorporate multiple types of time travel, like you're, I guess, trying to imply that everything that happened already happened in one sense, but um you're implying that your actions could change the course of the world in another sense. So like um you if you go back in time, you can't meet yourself because that could change the course of history. But at the same time, your actions that have been done in that timeline have already been done. So it doesn't actually matter if you meet yourself or not, because whether you have or not, it already happened, and that's why the world turned out the way it did. So there's inconsistencies in it, but it is very interesting to think about and to talk about. I've been ranting about this for several minutes now. But it's an interesting topic of conversation and it fills time, so it's good for a streamer with no one in chat. But yeah, we're almost done with the black background between the scales. After I finish this, I'm just going to go around and see if any of the scales need touching up. And then I'll end for tonight. It's getting late-ish and, pardon me, I need to eat dinner and go to bed at a reasonable time. And then probably no stream tomorrow because, again, I have plans with a friend. But I'll plan on streaming Saturday. I don't believe I have anything going on that day. So yeah, I have a plan. It's always nice to have a plan. Except when your plans just go completely wrong, and then it's hard to adjust from having a plan. Like, sometimes having a plan can get in the way of being able to be flexible. Kind of depends on the type of plan you have and the type of person you are, whether you're like, nope, the plan must be adhered to, or you're the kind of person that's just like, meh, we can use the plan, but it's more of a loose guideline, really. I'm more of that type of person just because I'm I have ADHD and it's very hard for me to stay focused on anything and make anything be consistent. So like as I'm talking, my brain's like, let's go over here and start thinking about this new topic. Like I can sit down and paint, but I have to be concentrating on multiple things at once in order to do stuff like this. like I have to have music or I have to be talking to someone, which is why streaming is really nice. It's very good for my brain because it gives my brain enough things to do that I can focus on painting for a long amount of time. I also like listening to music or listening to audiobooks or watching shows while I paint. But anyways, so ADHD can often get in the way of like having a set plan that makes sense. And also, I'm a teacher, and some teachers have just super complicated lesson plans, but I have learned that you will never get through your plan in the way that you hope you will. So you can come to class with an amazing plan. You can have every second of your classroom mapped out, but something unexpected will always happen. It doesn't matter how well you've planned. You will have a fire drill, or a student will need help on a question and you'll have to, I don't know, depending on how much help you have in your classroom, you might have to hold on to the lesson, like hold off or pause the lesson for just a little bit. Obviously, you don't want to go so long that other kids start getting bored and you're not moving on with your class, but there's always that the unexpected or some type of emergency in your class or something like that. So as a teacher, you do have to be pretty flexible. I can't remember the last time the classroom I work in got through an entire lesson plan in one day. It's very rare that we end up doing everything that we had planned on doing that day. It's much less rare for us to have to change our plans mid-lesson, or at least let something go. Be like, okay, we ran out of time for that today, and that's just fine. Like, even I work in a middle school, so we have multiple of the same class through the day, and in one of those classes, maybe we'll get through the whole lesson plan, and in another one, we won't. And it's fine. It's just part of it. So, yeah. Anyways. Ooh. I am really pleased with how this is turning out. This is gonna look so cool. So all I have left to do is the eye and the torch, and then we'll use my snazzy gold pen for some gold highlights. I might put a little bit of silver as the occasional highlight for some of these scales, but not all of them, because that would be overkill, but just some of them to give it a little bit more zing, but we'll see. We'll see how I feel about that. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you guys. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. I really appreciate everyone being here, and yeah, it makes me happy to have people who want to watch my stream and who are here. So thank you for joining. Thank you for your time, and I'm saying too many words, but thank you very much, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. And I will see you later.